You could tell us more about what's behind this move.
Well, it certainly marks a major shift in policy, and it also means that the previous reform back in 2016, the dropping of the famous one-child policy, hasn't really been successful in boosting China's birth rate. Now, one major obstacle for many working families, for couples, is the very high cost of raising children, especially in cities like Beijing and Shanghai, where rents and the cost of living have been skyrocketing. People from the one-child generation, well, you've got to remember that women of childbearing age now are mostly were born under the one-child policy. Now, they're also keen to give the best to their only child because that's the way they're used to thinking, rather than reduce the quality of education for the sake of having more kids. Many women are also prioritizing their career over family planning and are getting married later too. Now, all this obviously is having consequences. China, earlier this month, China published its once-in-a-decade census, which showed that the country's population had grown to 1.4 billion, a 5.4% increase from 10 years ago. Now, that was the slowest pace in decades. The birth rate for 2020 was just 1.3%, on par with aging societies like Italy and Japan.
So we know then that Chinese society is growing older and it's doing so pretty quickly.
That's right. Well, the percentage of people over 65 is now 13.5% compared with just under 9% a decade ago. While the number of very young people, those under 17, has actually increased slightly, the working population continues to shrink. It fell to 63.3% last year from the more than 70% back in 2010. In 2019, a government-run think tank warned that the state pension fund would start to decline in 2027 and be empty by 2035. Beijing has been testing private pension funds and is planning to raise the minimum retirement age from the current 60 gradually over the next 5 years.
Yuka Royer, thank you very much indeed for coming in to talk to us.